My name is Tim Butler. I'm the Fire Chief in St. Paul. And on behalf of the St. Paul Fire Department and President Brian Rosenberg from Macalester College, we welcome all of you today to today's event, where we're going to talk about some life-saving and life-maintaining interventions of some of the staff here at Macalester College. How we normally do these things is kind of more of an informal conversation, but what I'd like to do is set the tone for what we're going to talk about, kind of give you a background on the information of the incident. Then we're going to introduce all the key players. And then we're going to have them tell you their story, because it's a very compelling story. And after that, we'll give out some formal awards. So what I'd like to say first is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, is a life-saving skill that anybody can learn. And what they've done at Macalester College here is taught the faculty and some of the students this life-saving intervention. It's used for cardiac arrest when somebody has a heart attack, and it's usually used in conjunction with an AED, an automatic external defibrillator, a jump start for the heart, if you will. And studies have shown that three things are really vitally important for surviving a heart attack outside the hospital. First of all, you have to have good trained bystanders that can do CPR. You got to have quick application of that external defibrillator, that AED, and then you have to have the cavalry come in from the paramedic corps that bring the advanced life support, drugs, treatment, and transport to the hospital. Got to have those three things, those three links in the chain of survival, and this particular incident we're going to talk about today was a perfect example of how all three things happened well and with life-saving results. So on October 27th, right here at Macalester College, we had a young man named Jon Lurie. Jon suffered a heart attack, 43 years old, right here in the building. And Jon, I'd like to bring you up. We'll be the first person that we introduce as our victim, Jon. Jon, by the way, has met his responders and his rescuers for the first time this afternoon. So let's introduce those rescuers. First of all, we had Soren Nelson. She's the Leonard Center manager here. Sorry. You should see the spelling of these names. They're tremendous. Kim Chandler, she's the director of the athletics director here. And Randee Garberg is the trainer here. And these are the three responders that were trained the day before, recertified the day before in CPR, applied the AED, did CPR, and saved Jon's life. Now we have one other vital member of the team. We have 11-year-old Malcolm Lurie. Malcolm, do you want to come up here too? Come on up. Stand by your dad. You had an important part to play. And then I'd like to introduce the paramedic firefighters from Station 14, Medic 14, Captain Mark Dickinson and his crew. Mark, bring your crew up here. Nate Wiley, Chuck Schwartz, Kevin Thill. And I'm going to start with, I don't know who to start with because Jon wasn't really with us that day very long. Jon, why don't you start though, and we'll go right down the line and have the rescuers explain the whole process of what happened. Sure. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. I decided to come as I am today, not only because that's normally what I do, but because I wanted to be comfortable and I wanted to just be me, because just being alive is, it's a blessing every day. The night of the incident, October 27th, my son Malcolm and I, all right, this is going to be harder than I thought. Anyway, we came in and we were just going to play some baseball like we normally do. And maybe somebody else should speak first. Okay, all right. Thank you. I got up to the desk to show my ID, and I started feeling real dizzy. I have a pacemaker, and I've had some real troubles with my heart of late, and next thing I know, I'm on the floor, and I'm just gone. I was going to tell a much longer story, but I'll cut to the chase. Next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance a block or two away with these good folks. And I remember waking up and seeing the top of the ceiling of that ambulance, just thinking, and just thinking this is for real. And hearing their voices and having them respond to me was incredibly soothing. I could hear that they were in charge, that they knew what they were doing, they were confident. And my boy was up front. And once I knew that, everything was going to be okay. Since then, there have been challenges, of course, but I get to spend time with my family. And working here at Macalester, teaching creative writing, spending time with my students. My son and I just got back from a trip to California where we saw some Red Sox games, which is his favorite thing to do. And incredibly grateful for the amazing work that Kim, Soren, and Randee did and that the paramedics did. I could not have been in better hands that night. If I had stayed home that night instead of coming to play ball with Malcolm, the outcome probably would have been far different. I basically delivered myself to the best possible place on earth I could have been. So thank you to everybody.
Kim and Soren and Randee, why don't you come up and explain what happened after you found or were alerted to Jon here?
I think we should all three go because this is not a good place. Well, I mean, first of all, what we did, I mean, we're very thankful we were able to help. Thankfully we were trained the day before by Paula, and so it was still fresh in our minds. But these guys do it every day, and I don't know how you do it, but wow, that's amazing. One little tiny story I'll tell you quickly is when Jon first came around, he was laying on the stretcher, and the one thing he said is he was just asking for Malcolm, and he looked right at Malcolm. He says, "I love you. I just want you to know I love you." So that's that's kind of what stands out in my mind. So we're just so thankful that we were in the right place at the right time and able to help.
Well, first of all, I'd really like to thank everybody for coming. Jon, you need to know that our blessing is your blessing. We're all here to celebrate your continued life with all of us, and the world is better with you in it. And again, I know that we all feel really blessed in the fact that this was a very positive outcome. As I look around, it was an ordinary night for us. It was October 27th with the volleyball game, senior night, Macalester versus Carleton. We had a packed gym. And as we all sat in the gym, we had one of our student workers working the front desk quickly come into the gym to alert us that a gentleman had collapsed at the front desk. As I look back at my cell phone, I think it's really interesting. At 7:51, the student had notified us, and at that time, basically Soren and I and Randee had moved, and there were many other people involved: Tom Cross, Steve Murray, Tim Whittle, Ellen Thompson. Everybody in some way, as you know, we work great as a team here at Macalester, and that team really jumped into action. Dan Larson in terms of helping us with our crowd. And so again, it was just by 7:51 we were notified. By 7:53 we had already at that point assessed the situation and were applying the AED. When we rolled Jon, we knew that we were in trouble. That was my first response: is we're in trouble and we need to go. And as I looked at Soren, as I looked at Randee, we all assessed the situation in a way that I think we were most helpful, and were able to quickly respond. And like I said, Jon, I know it was only a matter of minutes before we started to see you come back around. And the one thing I really realized about Jon was his eyes. And he has these steel blue, beautiful eyes, and that was very apparent as we rode him. Is that I could almost look right through his eyes, because I know that, again, he had checked out. And by the time we brought him back around, his eyes began to track and began to come back and began looking at us. And as Soren had mentioned, his first response as we kept trying to talk to him and trying to pull him out of the situation was that we just kept talking. He kept asking about his son. And I know how much the concern for Malcolm, how much that really helped pull you through. And Malcolm, you were a little trooper in terms of sitting with Ellen and Tim, getting the information. I know by the time we had called the squad, we had already made contact with your sister and were talking with your family at that point and trying to get some help and some information. So you were terrific, just absolutely terrific, and you were so strong. And last but not least, all I would say is to the St. Paul Fire Department emergency staff, we're just so thankful. I know one of the things that we kept saying is, we got to hear sirens, we have to hear sirens, we can hear sirens. And, we kept talking to the person for us, Tom Cross, who was on the 911 call, saying, where are they, where are they? And, we had people at the doors down at the south end, we had people at the center door, and they just kept saying to us, we're hearing sirens, you got to keep going, you got to keep going. And I tell you, once you guys were in the door and down the hallway, you were just fabulous. And you were, again, took charge of the situation, but most importantly, after you had taken care of Jon, you all came back and in some way approached the three of us and everybody that was part of that life-saving event and thanked us and checked in with us. And so again, I want to thank you for your great work, and again, it took everyone that night to have a positive outcome, but we're all very blessed, Jon. We're all very blessed, and we're very blessed to have you here, and I think we all feel very fortunate to have been part of such an amazing event. So thank you to everyone. Appreciate it.
Stay up here for just a moment. We do have one other individual who'd like to speak today. Jon's mother and father are here. Francie, would you like to come up? And why don't you bring Malcolm back up here, because we have a little award for Malcolm. A long time ago, after I first became certified as an EMT, I had my very first volunteer effort here at Macalester College during the Special Olympics. And we had a medical emergency, and I was a brand new EMT, didn't know a darn thing, except what they taught us in the classroom. And I remember thinking Pete Preem was on Medic 14. Medic 14's crew came down the hallway, and I kept thinking to myself, here's the cavalry coming. And that feeling of relief of knowing you've done a great job, but there's more professional, more trained, more help coming. That's a good feeling for everybody. I'd like to introduce Francie right now. Francie is Jon's mother and would like to say some words. Francie.
I hope I don't pull a Jon. But he doesn't fall far from the tree, and I know when I come up, the tears start flowing. Okay, on my part. First of all, there is no way, there are no words invented in the vocabulary to express how my husband and our whole entire family, extended family, feel about what you have done. All of you have done, and more of you out here, on behalf of our son. I think I was in denial for quite a while. I said, this could not have happened. I think today has brought me around. When you survive the Holocaust and people disappear in front of your eyes, you take it for granted they're not there the next day. I grew up feeling that way. When I lost a friend, well, she was gone. When I lost somebody else, if she's gone, he's gone. So it's always been kind of a life of denial that this could happen to my son. So that's why I'm telling you there are no words to express how I feel about Jon, who after 4 daughters was the first son born, and the whole Twin Cities rejoiced at the sight of a son for the Luries. I want to say something. I'm going to keep this very short, besides just telling you my gratitude to all of you. It's not describable. Malcolm, can you come here for a second? I know it's really hard for you, but I want you to come here for a second, okay? There are 2 things that are major in Mo's life. Now, I understand he's got sisters, a dad, a mother, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. I know you've got all that. But if we narrow it down, there are 2 things in your life that are majorly important. One is baseball, and the other is your dad. Now, without your dad, there is no baseball, right? He takes you all over the country to watch games. I want to give you this. It's a baseball, and on it, it says Mensch. Now, the word Mensch is a Yiddish word. And if you were to look up the word in the Yiddish dictionary, or maybe even Webster's, it might say, Mensch, look for Malcolm Lurie. Go back to there and see a description of Malcolm. He's a Mensch. You are a most incredible young man. You don't say a lot, but you take it all in, and you're amazing. You never lost your cool when your dad fell down. Never. You gave all the information you were supposed to give. So this is to the number 1 Mensch in our life for you.
Thank you.
I know.
Okay, now we have a couple of official awards for Soren, Kim, and Randee. These are letters of commendation from the St. Paul Fire Department. I'll read Soren's, but they're nearly identical. So, Mr. Nelson, the City of St. Paul Fire Department values aggressive actions of EMS functions during delivery, diagnosis, rapid treatment, and transport for citizens of our city who require such interventions. These values are what drive our system's delivery to be the best it can be, and is what helps make St. Paul the most livable city in America. You help facilitate that system, as we take great pride in, and during the course of your applied actions, you saved a life. On the evening of October 27, 2010, you and other staff were at Macalester College's Leonard Center, the campus athletic complex, when a man, Jon Lurie, collapsed. Upon recognizing that the man was unconscious and not breathing, the 911 system was immediately activated, and you attached an automatic external defibrillator to Mr. Lurie. The AED instructed you to initiate a shock. After the shock, you performed 3 cycles of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The patient, who immediately became conscious, was confused and talking. Upon arrival of our crew, St. Paul Fire Medic 14, they noticed the outstanding efforts that were underway and worked with you and your team in the resuscitation efforts. The following is a direct quote from Fire Captain Mark Dickinson of Medic 14. The quick thinking and calmness of the actions taken by bystanders helped save this man's life. The patient's son, who was only 11, was on scene and witnessed what happened to his father. Staff were there to comfort him the whole time. The professionalism and helpfulness of all the people involved, in my opinion, deserves recognition, and therefore I request on behalf of the crews of Medic 14 and Squad 2, that the staff involved in saving this man's life so quickly and calmly receive recognition for their actions. Coincidentally, just the day before, you successfully renewed your CPR certification. The St. Paul Fire Department recognizes outstanding efforts and actions in these emergency situations that show courage and compassion towards the citizens of St. Paul. And therefore, it is with great respect and appreciation for your actions that I present all of you this letter of commendation. Your hard work, abilities, and selfless attitude are a credit to the citizens of St. Paul and all the patrons who utilize your facility. You are an asset to Macalester College, and they're fortunate to have an individual of your caliber on their staff. And signed myself, Tim Butler, Fire Chief. So, and Kim Chandler, congratulations. And Randy, this one's for you. Randee Garberg. And Malcolm, one more time, we're going to ask you to come up here. This is a special certificate for Malcolm. Malcolm, come on right up here. The certificate of commendation awarded to Malcolm Lurie. The certificate is presented to Malcolm Lurie to acknowledge your assistance to the St. Paul Fire Paramedics on October 27, 2010. That evening, your father, Jon Lurie, collapsed while the two of you were at Macalester College. During this very traumatic event, you remained calm and were able to help the paramedics with important personal and medical information about your father that was essential to his pre-hospital care and survival. And therefore, I, Fire Chief Tim Butler, am proud to award you this certificate of commendation for your bravery and assistance under extraordinary circumstances, helping save the life of your father. Signed, Fire Chief Tim Butler. David, would you like to say anything on behalf of Macalester? Or Kim, or? As David comes up to the platform here, I just want to remind everybody that this CPR training is easy to get. You can get it at any institution. If you need help finding a place that teaches it, contact myself, contact the staff here at Macalester College. We'll teach you CPR, we'll teach you how to use the AED. But it's institutions like Macalester that have made this safety culture an important part of their faculty training, and they're equipping the facilities with the right stuff. Macalester is a great place to be at. It's a great place to go to school, but it's also a great place to learn life-saving and life-changing techniques and skills. So, David?
Well, public speaking is not my forte, so thanks for putting me on the spot. But on behalf of the college, I'm just proud of the actions of our staff and that they were able to act quickly. I think we have a robust EMT program at the college. One of our students, Terrence in the back, has been leading a student-led effort, which is going to go international this summer as he takes it to Venezuela. So we have important things happening at the college. Terry, would you like to present the medal? Yeah.
Randy, if I can get you to come this way a little bit. My name is Terry Gorman. I'm the Director of Safety and Security at Macalester. And on behalf of the college, Brian Rosenberg, and all the faculty and staff, we had the occasion at this time to have a medal struck for these fine folks. And because of some scheduling things, we've missed Randy, but it's an appropriate day to do this. So again, in your recognition of your great efforts in this event, I'd like to present you with this medal, a life-saving medal. Get your hair caught up in this. And thank you very much to all of you for the great job that you've done in this moment of urgent need to take care of one of our own and do a good job. So thank you very much. We can't appreciate it enough. I'll give you this. And your certificate. You just go on with that. Thank you.
I've been told there's light refreshments over here, so please enjoy yourself. And once again, feel free to talk to the rescuers, talk to John and Malcolm, and share their stories. Thanks again to everybody, and thanks for being here this afternoon.